Hello guys, have you wondered how to implement voice and video call features in your application? I will show you that today using ZegoCloud Call Invitation UI Kit. Before we proceed, I'll show you the end product that we'll get at the end of this video. So this is a Flutter application that I created using Firebase and ZegoCloud. So here you have two users logged in where you can call one from each end. So this is the voice call feature. It is easily customizable. You can do whatever you want with it. Any user can end the call and any user can call. So we can test out the video call feature too. I have a low system specification, so it might not show the video, but with a mobile device you can see the video call, which I'll show at the end of this tutorial. So let's get started without wasting much of our time. Before we proceed, we will create a new Flutter project. We say Flutter create Zego and we hit enter. Head to ZegoCloud.com and you see so many of the features that ZegoCloud offers. It offers so many things to build powerful interaction apps with voice and video and chat APIs. So there are so many companies that have trust in ZegoCloud. Companies like LiveMe, StarMaker, Gamgala, ChatMeet, Yala and Timatem, and so many others. So you can get video call SDK, voice call, cloud recording, live stream, in-app chat, and so many other features from ZegoCloud. And the beautiful thing about ZegoCloud is that it is not just a platform dependent API or an SDK. It can be implemented on so many platforms like Android, iOS, on Flutter, on Windows, and on your web. So once you sign in, you get a free 10,000 minutes. You don't need any credit card to get that or any other thing. Just sign up. And to sign up, once you are in the once you are in ZegoCloud site, you can just see here I am already logged in, but here you see sign up. So if you've not signed up before, you just click on sign up and then sign up. But I already have an account. I'll log in. And what do we want? We want to make use of the UI kits, and we have so many of them. And then the ZegoCloud platform has documentations that are easy to understand and read and continue to create great applications. So without wasting much of your time, I'll log into my dashboard so that you see how it is. On your dashboard, you can create a project, or you head into the project that I've created. If you look up here, you see it's a voice and video call project, which is a Flutter project. So if you want to create, just click create a project. You select from the numerous options that you have here, which is so good. You have telehealth, one-on-one tutoring, live shopping, in-app chat, customized app, and so many others that you can get, so many others that you can get. So, but now I already have one, so I can go to project management and then view my project. Then let's check out what's in this project. So here you have your app ID and your project name, the status, and then so many other things in here which will be helpful as we continue. So you also have your app sign, which will be needed when you want to configure the UI kit in your application. You can configure your app to make use of it on the web, iOS, Android, React Native, but then I am making use of it with Flutter. So I have configured it to make use of Flutter. You can edit your configuration and so many other things. So one other thing in this app, I made use of Firebase. So I will not show you much on that, but I'll show you my Firebase console. So in my Firebase console, I have a project called Zego, and in it we have an app, two apps, Zego for Android and iOS, because it is a Flutter application. And the two things I activated here are: one, authentication, so that we can authenticate users and log them in, and then another thing is Firebase Firestore, so that we can store some data of our users, like their names. So try and activate your authentication and Firestore database. And one other step we go to project settings. And when you are in the service account, you go to generate new private key. And when you generate it, it will be downloaded in your system, which we will use in the ZegoCloud console. So I have already downloaded it, so I won't download it again. So I think that's it for Firebase. You should look into how to activate the Firebase with Flutter applications, where you run some commands so that you can use Firebase in your application, like Firebase login and Flutter Fire activate, and so many other console commands that you have to run. From the ZegoCloud.com homepage, you go to developers, then you head to UI kit. In the UI kit, you scroll down to one-on-one calls, where you have call invitation, direct calls, low latency video, crystal clear audio, and all that. So in one-on-one video call, you hit on Flutter, so that we'll get the documentation on how we can run this. You have an overview to look through. What is the core kit? When do you need this and all that? Because most times when you need it is when you need speed in your application and efficiency too, so that you wouldn't code everything from scratch and all that. So from there, you head to the quick start guide. So when you get to quick start with call invitation, which is what we need, you see the integration guide for common components. Then the prerequisites are to go to ZegoCloud admin console to create a UI kit project, which we have done. Then you get the app ID and app sign. Then you can download the sample code to see how this was implemented. So there are dependencies you need to add, which is ZegoCloud, Zego UI Kit pre-built core, and Zego UI Kit signaling plugin. Once you've done that, you hit Flutter pop get, and then you import the SDK, and then you continue coding your app. So I will go down to some of the setup you need for your Android application and all that, so that the coding, we can do that by ourselves. So if you are using Firebase console and ZegoCloud to build, there are steps you have to go through, which I have shown you, which is getting the resource ID which we downloaded, and then heading to your ZegoCloud console. When you head to your ZegoCloud console, you go to service management, and then you head to in-app charts. Then in your Android offline push, this helps you for push notifications on your application. Then you click add credentials. When you click add credentials, it will tell you to select or upload the FCM. Then you go to your downloads, and then you see the Zego Firebase that we did, and then we select. But I have already put it up on this console, so I don't need to do that again. Then you will also have to come and customize your push resource, and when you click add, you put the resource ID, which will also be needed in your app when we continue. So I think that's all for the setup, and then we'll head to Visual Studio to check out some other settings you have to do before you get the app running. So one of the things we have to look out for is the minimum SDK version. Then we set the Kotlin Gradle version and all that. So, and then we add Firebase messaging dependencies. So I'll show you how it is on the new view.gradle.kts. So for our minimum SDK, I used 23 instead of 21 as is in the documentation because of Firebase. Firebase requires that you use a minimum SDK of 23. Then the target SDK, Flutter handles that. Let me check if there is any other thing. And then the dependency is how it looks here, but then you have to use the recent way it is done in Android here. The next thing is to add your app permissions. You just have to copy all these, go into your apps manifest file. So you go to app, source, main, and then Android manifest, then paste the permissions up here. It helps you to access internet, access audio recording, camera, and the rest, which you need for making calls. Then the next thing is to prevent code obfuscation. You have to create a prograd file with the prograd rule, with this prograd rule in it, inside your app folder. So this is it. It is progradrules.pro. So then the next thing is to check whether the local configuration is set up properly. You can download the Zego check Android offline notification.py file to check that, and then you can guide your users to set up their permissions to enable app to run on background, and then to auto start and all that. So after that, we can now write our code and test. So without wasting much of your time, let's head into coding. We have to go into our pubspec.yaml file and import some dependencies that we need. These dependencies are the Zego UI Kit previewed call, Firebase call for Firebase, Firebase auth for authentication on Firebase, Cloud Firestore for the database, and then Zego UI Kit signaling for notifications, and then Flutter.env for hiding our secrets. So after doing that, you have to click here to get packages, or you say Flutter pub get in your terminal. Before we get started with the code, we will look through how our lib folder is created. Our lib folder has a structure that goes with interfaces, which contains the home, the login, the sign up, and one widget, which is the user call widget. Then we have the model, which is the user model, and then we have services, which is the Firebase service for login and sign up. Then we have our config, where we hide our which help us to hide our secrets. And then we have the Firebase options, which is auto-generated when you configure the Firebase. And then we have our main.dat file, where our project starts running from. We'll start by writing our user model, and we need the UID, the name, email, and then the username. Then we map this UID, name, email, and username, and that's it for our model. In our services, we create a Firebase service class, and in the Firebase service class we have the Firebase authentication and then the Firebase Firestore instance. The authentication will help us during sign up, where we use create user with email and password to create a user, and then after creating the user we have to save some user data like the username, user ID, and then the email to the Firebase Firestore database. And to do that, we save it into the collection of users, with our user UID being the special identifier. After that, the login function is written, which is a feature of the user model, and what is required are two parameters, the email and the password, which are passed into the sign in with email and password function. So when this is called, we check in the document if the user exists. If the user exists, then we log in, else we print an error message which says user data not found in Firestore. So, and then we print the error, what caused such error. Then we have the sign out. The sign out is very easy. We call the Firebase authentication dot sign out. It will just sign out. And then the last service is to get all users except the current user, which will form a list of users without showing the current user that is logged in, which will serve as, or which will look like a contact list. We write our user call widget code. So follow me as I go. So we say final user model, we call our user model, and we call it user. Then we make it required this dot user, and then we go into our container. Then we call the decoration box decoration. We give it a color, a variation of white, colors the white 60. We introduce a list style. Give it a shape. Border radius does a color. Let's leave it at 12. Then the leading, we need to get a circular avatar, which will contain the first letter of the user's name. So we give it a radius of 25. Then a child with center widgets, so that the the letter will be at the center of the circle. Text. We say user dot name dot substring. We start from 0 to 1 dot to uppercase. Then the title will be a text, which is user.name. Then the trailing, we have a container with width of let's say width of about 90. No, 90 might be too much. Let's say 80. And then child of row children, list of children. Then we need two buttons, which is the call button, the voice call button, and then the video call button. So we bring in the Zego send call invitation button. Then we get a list of invitees. Zego UI kit user, that's it. Zego UI kit user. The ID, say user dot UID, and then the name, say user dot name. Then we can now customize so many other things in the Zego call invitation button. His video is a Boolean, so the first one we need the first one to be audio, so we say false, and then we customize other things in the button. Now we are done with the audio button. The on-wheel pressed functions as a control. It helps us to make a user not to call or open up a new call when he's on another call. So when you are making a voice call, you don't have the opportunity to dial another number or dial another user at the same instance. So what we do, we copy this same button and then we paste. Then the only thing we change is video call. Now say true. That's it. And then we change the icon for the video call. We say icons.video cam. So that's it for the video call and the audio. Let's write our home widgets. We start with calling the Firebase user. We say final user. We call it Firebase user. And then we make it required. So before then we import the Firebase auth library, and then we say require this dot Firebase user. Okay, then we go into our states. The first thing we do is to call the Firebase and Firebase or Firebase service, and then our user model. So we say final Firebase auth, call it auth, which is equal to Firebase auth dot instance, then Firebase service, the service that we've written, so we call it service, which is equal to Firebase service. Then let's feature list user model. We call it users feature. We import our user model. So we use these to get our code running. So before that, we initialize ZegoCloud pre-built call invitation service. So we say override, that's override. So whenever we get to our home screen, we first of all get all users except the current. Then we get the ZegoCloud or Zego UI kits pre-built invitation service. Dots init. Then our app ID it's in a we saved it in a secret file, so we call it by saying app config dot app ID. Then user sorry about that, user ID is widget the Firebase user dot UID. Then our username, we say widget the Firebase user dot display name, or widget the Firebase user dot email. Then our plugins is the Zego UI kit signaling plugin. one thing is missing, which is the app sign. Then the app sign is appconfig.appsign. So we now build what we want. On the app bar, just have contacts written there. So I would like to have a logout button too. So after the title, I'll create actions. And in the actions, I'll have an elevated button. On press of the elevated button, we now have the service.signout. And that's it for logout. Then the child will be a text. Logout. Then the body will be a feature builder, which takes a feature, which is user's feature, and then a builder, if snapshots, if the snapshot connection state is equal to waiting, then we return center. We return a center widget with a circular progress bar in it. Or circular progress indicator. If the snapshot has error, and then we write error showing users. If the snapshot has no data or the snapshot is empty, Then we also write no users found. We say final users, which is snapshots.data. If there is data, return list view.builder. Then we space out each user horizontally and vertically for better display on our screen. Then we call the user call widget that we created earlier. So in our builder, we create a final user. Sorry, in our item builder, which is users index. Each user will be gotten and then indexed. And that's it for the home page. We'll look through our sign up, our login, and then our main.dat files. In our sign up page, we have a stateful widget which has 4 controllers: the name, user name, email, and then password controllers, which takes in text from the text field. Then we have our Firebase service also here. So whenever a text is put into all these text fields, they are trimmed so that we don't take in things like spaces or unwanted characters in our app. This is where the sign up is handled, and this is sign up interface code. It is self-explanatory. Don't worry, I will upload the code on GitHub so that it will be easier for you to follow through if you want to get the same interface feel. Yeah, that's it for sign up. So login is almost the same thing. We have email and password controllers, and then we handle the login. We use the Firebase service.login, and then we pass in email and password. So why is this? All right, Firebase user. So that's the error. So when you log in successfully, it will take you to the home page. But when you sign off successfully, it will take you to the login page. So that's the simple thing that we did here. So the next is to check our main.dat file. I think there is an error in it, but we'll fix that. There are important things to look out for when you are handling the main.dat file. First of all, you have to declare the navigator key. In the main method, you start with widget Flutter binding, ensure initialized. Then we await our .env where we store our secrets, so that we load that up and before the app is ready. And then another thing we do is to initialize the we pass the navigator key into ZegoUIKit pre-built call invitation service into the set navigator key. We pass the navigator key into the set navigator key function. Yeah. We declare our variables, which are user ID, username, and then we pass them into the initialization of ZegoUIKit pre-built call invitation service, as we did in the home page. This is so that the ZegoCloud or the ZegoUIKit will be ready before we enter into the main areas of our app. That's it for our app. So we call the home page we call the stay in class on the home page. The staying in, it helps the user not to always go to the login page whenever he comes to the app. It checks whether the user has logged in for some time, and then keep the user logged in so that you don't type in your credentials every time you come to the app. So this is it. And then we have to pass user into Firebase user, call it user. And then that is it. Our app is ready. Then we have to run and test our app. So for us to test the app, we have to open up our terminal by clicking Ctrl hyphen. You see Flutter run, and we hit enter. But before then, we have to start our emulator, launch emulator. So let's wait for it to start. Then we hit our Flutter run. Now our app has successfully run, and it's asking for some permissions. These permissions come from what we set up for Android. First of all, from the app source main Android manifest. So we have to give it access to all these. So it says allow Zego to take pictures and record video while using the app. We say okay. Then allow Zego to record audio while using the app. We say okay. Then allow Zego to send you notifications. We allow. and now allow Zego to display over other apps so that when someone calls you, the ringing notification can be on top of any other app. We say allow and we head into our settings to make that work. Don't mind my emulator, it's a bit slow, but that works. So we are done setting up all this. Then we have to log into the app, and then before then I'll have to start up my physical mobile device so that we can test out the call feature between the two devices. So to start that up, we'll use rc.py-d. All right. So we minimize this, and then we minimize our code. We have these two here. So let's log in with one user here. Let's say we log in with chika@gmail.com. Then we log in with, okay, we put the password chike1234. We log in, and then we log in here with let's say Orion has C. It's already here. There. And then we log in. So these are the contacts. Put the password once more, and we log in. Oh, something is wrong. I'll fix that. The issue was that we didn't put our item count to contain all the users' lengths. So we fixed that now. So let's test out our code. So I'll call Orion Hasi from Chika. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that's ringing on my phone. So I'll pick it up. Yeah, it's working, and I can hear myself speak. Yeah. So that's how to implement voice call and video call. Let's test out the video call feature. All right. Yeah. So this is my emulator. It's showing the emulator video on the physical device. Yeah, you can see my hand on the physical device. So the video call feature is working. So this is how to implement voice and video call features in your application using ZegoCloud UI Kit. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video and share it, and leave a comment if you need any clarification. Thank you for watching and getting thus far to this part of the video.